Good afternoon, and at this time, will sergeants please start their recordings?
PC recording is up.
Thank you.
Wow, all set.
Thank you, and Sergeant Polite with your opening statement.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to the remote hearing on general welfare. For council members and staff, please turn on your video at this time. Thank you. To minimize disruption, please place all cell phones and electronics to vibrate. Chair 11, we're ready to begin.
Thank you very much, Sergeant. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to gavel in here. Okay. Welcome to this vote on the City Council's Committee on General Welfare. Today, the committee will conduct a vote on two bills that I'm sponsoring. Proposed intros 147A, which would require the Department of Social Services to produce an annual report on supportive housing, and proposed intro 2176A, which will require that a bill of rights be distributed to supportive housing tenants. Supportive housing, which began in the 1970s in response to the homelessness crisis in New York City, is considered the most successful existing model for ending chronic homelessness among vulnerable populations. It provides integrated permanent housing with services that help people overcome barriers to maintaining stable housing. While supportive housing was created to serve the most vulnerable, some advocates have argued that only the easiest to serve clients are accepted into supportive housing. There are reports of applicants being denied supportive housing due to their age, lack of insight into mental illness, not being compliant with medication, or recent substance abuse. In order to ensure that we are serving those who need it the most and not leaving any populations behind, I have sponsored proposed intro 147A. This bill would require that DSS produce an annual report on the number of individuals eligible for, referred to, accepted to, rejected for, and still awaiting placement for supportive housing, disaggregated by age, gender, race, population, category, the average length of time the client has been homeless, and the client's current shelter placement, or whether the client is an unsheltered person, and the referral source. The bill would also require DSS to report on the reason a client has been rejected for placement. This data will help us all figure out together if there are any hiccups in the system or groups that are being underserved. The committee will also hear proposed intro 2176A, which will require DSS to create a written notice for supportive housing residents of their rights pursuant to various state and local laws. The bill would require every provider of supportive housing to provide every resident this notice at the time of an interview, initial occupancy, at each lease or program agreement renewal, and upon request. Additionally, the bill would provide that any provider who violates the requirement to provide notice would be liable for a civil penalty of $250. This bill would help to improve transparency by ensuring every tenant in supportive housing has their rights made known to them. I'm a big proponent of supportive housing, and I want to ensure that supportive housing programs are successful and reach their target populations. I hope that we can all work together to get support to those who need it, starting with ensuring that those with the highest needs are served. I'd like to thank the advocates, providers, and those with lived experience who informed and helped shape this legislation. And at this time, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues who are here. We are joined by Council members Ruben Diaz Sr., Council member Dharma Diaz, Councilmember Rafael Salamanca, Councilmember Barry Grudenchik, and Councilmember Brad Lander. And I'd like to thank my staff, Jonathan Boucher, my Chief of Staff, Elizabeth Adams and Nicole Hunt, my co-legislative directors, Vivek Sri Kumar, legislative assistant, and committee staff, Aminta Kilawan, senior counsel, Crystal Pond, senior policy analyst, Natalie Omery, policy analyst, Julia Hermes, financial analyst, and Dohini Sampur, our finance unit head. And with that, I will turn it over to senior counsel Aminta Kilawan to call, or am I turning it over? I'm sorry, to William Martin, committee clerk, to call the roll.
Sir, thank you. Good late afternoon. No problem. Yeah. William Martin, committee clerk, roll call vote, Committee on General Welfare, proposed introductions 147A and 2176A. Items are coupled. Chair Levin.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Lander.
With congratulations and thanks to the chair for these important bills and your continued pushing across the finish line. Aye on all.
Thank you. Grudenchik.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Salamanca.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Dharma Diaz.
I and all, I just want to thank the chair for fighting for the underserved during most difficult times. I'm honored to have served with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharma.
My apologies, Councilmember, what was your vote?
I thought I said aye, but just in case. It's been
Thank
a
you.
long day.
Yes, thank you. Okay, by a vote of 5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, both items have been adopted by the committee. Mr. Chair, you can close at your convenience.
Okay. This hearing is adjourned. Thank you.